Hello, wonderful people. My name is Joe Vika, and I'm live and I'm direct. Today we have some good information teaching that we want to martial out, and I'm not going to be doing it alone. I have some men of God here in the studio to discuss a very important topic, and the topic we're looking into says wedding is not biblical. Let's look into that. People might be saying, how can a pastor be saying that? How can a priest be saying that? How can a man of God be saying this? Are you okay? Well, everybody is entitled to his opinion, and everybody has right to say whatever they want to say. But the scripture will prove us right or wrong. So after this break, wonderful people, I will be setting the ball rolling, and let's confirm if burden is really biblical or not. So that is what's going to form the topic of our discussion this evening, this afternoon, this morning, based on when you are listening to me. After this break, let's go.
Yeah, this is Joe Vika Television, all the way from California, Syria, all over the world. This is Joe Vika Television. Come on, yeah. Everybody got a story, either lose or win. Everybody imperfection, everybody sin. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, everybody got a thing. This is Joe Vika Television, making story films. In times enough for magazines or the bulletin. When they take my advice, live your dream and do your thing. Nowadays, this.
Because of time, I want to hold it there. Because we don't have much time to stay here. If you're in the studio, you will agree with me that you can see some wonderful, notable individuals who are here to do justice to this topic we are about to hand over. These are two wonderful, notable men of God known all over the world. You might have come across them one way or the other. So depending on what you know about them, or if you don't know them, you're going to know them. The first person I want to introduce in the platform tonight is my friend and my brother, Reverend Abraham Lewis. Reverend sir, can we hear you? Can we meet you?
God bless you all. Thank you. Nice meeting you all. God bless you.
Okay. He said, last meeting. The next person is the person I have. His name is Lion Killer, but he need to explain to us very well. Let's understand better.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. My name is Apostle Thomas.
Network.
The is the old firewood, the Akara, aka the Lion Killer.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna talk at me. I never see any lion way kill you. Until I see him, I'm gonna see the talk him. So
yeah, it's very easy. Not Joe Vita, no this before. Now, during Edo State election, those people who live in Edo State, they call by name Tony Kabaka, who introduced to fight the present governor of Edo State, saying that that is going to remove the governor of Edo State. So I came and I told them I will be the one to kill the lion and the tiger. And I made them to lose their unit and their ward. And the governor of Edo State won, which is Governor Godwin Obaseki. That was how the people of Edo State started calling me the lion killer. Thank you.
Okay, this is why they started calling you the lion killer.
Yes.
No holla. Okay. Man of God, we are looking at the topic that says wedding is not biblical. Wedding is not biblical. So I want to know, before we dive into the crux of the matter, what is wedding in your own understanding? We can everybody's ready to can Google it. What do you understand that is wedding, Reverend Abraham? If you want to, in your own interpretation, you want to use Google, we can, no problem. What do you understand by wedding? Or do you want us to go from Google first?
No. People of God, nice meeting you all. Actually, I wanted to ask the question, do you mean to say white wedding is not biblical? Or wedding in general is not biblical. You did not really explain that aspect of it to us,
Okay.
because yeah, if we say wedding is not biblical, we may be contradicting the
Ourselves.
word of, yeah, we may be contradicting ourselves, because
Okay.
the people cannot come together without doing wedding. But I suppose that what you wanted to say is that white wedding is not biblical, because it has become a standard today, but it's not a biblical standard. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that was what you were trying to bring out in this
What
conversation.
is wedding?
Yes. So typically,
Listen, listen.
wedding. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, it says a marriage ceremony, especially considered as including the association. Wedding is a marriage ceremony. So why are we getting or you are getting somehow your discussion? You say white wedding. Wedding is wedding, and wedding is the ceremony that goes with the ceremony that goes in the midst of wedding, marriage. Sorry, or wedding is a kind of ceremony that initiates the wedding. According to dictionary, said I asked what is wedding. It said a wed is a noun, a marriage ceremony, especially considered as including the associated celebrants. So that celebration is what is wedding, whether it is white or black or blue, in my own context. But marriage is different from wedding. Let's
Okay.
get that. So marriage is biblical, but wedding
Yes.
is not biblical. That is what I think. But I have the
Okay.
right to disagree with me. So what do you
Yeah.
say? How do you say?
Okay, man of God. Without even having any argument in any way, the truth of the matter is this: both secularly, both religiously, and otherwise, there are two words that are being interchangeably used, but they should not be used interchangeably. They have nothing to do with each other. And those are those two words: wedding and marriage. Wedding is distinct, marriage is distinct. And if we don't separate these two words, we're going to be contradicting ourselves and confusing ourselves. Wedding typically is a ceremony. Wedding, in any way you look at it, wedding is a ceremony, a conjugal ceremony
Okay.
between two people or two families or whatever the case. They come to eat and drink, but that is where there is a confusion, because wedding and marriage are not the same. Marriage is a covenant,
Okay.
and funny enough, this covenant involves only two people. It does not involve more than two people.
Okay.
Marriage is always between two people, but the ceremony part of it, which is what makes marriage a covenant, but the ceremony is plural and it involves a lot of people. It can involve a lot of people. That is where we have a problem,
Are you
not
guys
with the marriage.
TikTok? Are you guys hearing my guest? Those on TikTok, are you guys hearing them? Should I amplify their voice? I need a feedback, please. Oh my God. Those on TikTok, can you hear me? Can you hear my guest? Let me try this way. If you cannot hear, then I take another direction. Okay, if you're on TikTok, you can hear. It's okay. Let's make hear. What's your own view, sir? Akara. Okay, is he off? I want to have him. Yes. Man of God. Lion Killer. What is wedding? Is wedding different from marriage? What is your view?
They are the same words, but because civilization definition begin to come in. Wedding is bringing two people to make them one. Why making them one? There's a celebration that attached to it. Whether you call it marriage or wedding, they are the same word. It's just the white men are bringing too many languages to confuse us. So wedding, look at the word wedding, is to merge one substance with another substance. That is wedding. So you can go wedding and marriage to understand better. So it's two persons coming together to become one. That is wedding. In that same wedding, there are ceremony that attached to it, which brings up celebration. That is my own understanding. The same definition go for marriage. The same definition go for marriage. There's not difference between wedding and marriage. It's the same thing. It's just the white men are trying to confuse us the more, which is now bringing error to biblical understanding of wedding and marriage.
Okay, but the Google is what is the difference of it? Say a wedding is a ceremony, a ceremonial celebration of a marriage, while a marriage is a legal contract between two people.
I said the white people will keep deceiving us.
But
Let's leave their dictionary. Let's go into reality. Let's leave dictionary. Let's go into reality. Have you ever seen anybody that did marriage without wedding? Have you ever seen anybody that said, I'm doing marriage, I'm not doing wedding? Have you ever seen any couple that said, I'm doing marriage, I'm not doing wedding?
Yes.
Have you ever seen any couple? Those things are English language influenced to deceive and cause more commotion to scripture.
That is your own vanity. We don't come.
My own definition.
Okay, man of God.
Do you have something to add up?
I have something there to add. You see, I love the way my brother is putting it, because if you look at it literally, wed, marriage, and then to marry, to bond. In the actual sense of it, we have used the same, we have said the same thing. But you know the funny part of it.
What the dictionary was saying?
Yeah, no, don't mind the dictionary. You know, the marriage is saying marriage is a legal contract. Unfortunately, marriage is never a contract. Marriage is a covenant. Marriage is.
It depends on a cliche or the word you
yes.
use. Now they're intermarrying. Contract.
Yeah.
Covenant is making it to be more spiritual.
But from the beginning it was a covenant. From the beginning, it was never never a contract.
From the beginning of which people? Is it
of creation. From the beginning of creation, it was a covenant.
Okay, some people don't believe in the theory of creation.
And that is their business. Yeah? That is their business. Nobody else created marriage. Marriage was only spoken about in the Bible. Buddha did not create marriage. Hindu did not create marriage. Islam did not create marriage. God, Jehovah the Almighty, is the one who created marriage. He is the one who instituted marriage. So it doesn't matter who agree or disagree. If they want to fight against God, then they should never marry. They should never copulate. They will say, no, it was the Bible that said it. So we don't want to have anything to do with the Bible. So let's never marry. Let's never have anything to do with marriage. Then I will believe that they truly hate God. But as long as the men are touching women, they are still doing exactly what God wants them to do. As long as the women are sleeping with men, then they are still doing what God wants. If they want to fight God, then stop sleeping with a man, should stop sleeping with women, and stop carrying a woman to your house, because that was what it was God who said it. You did not say it. Your deity never said it.
You're adding up another thing. Sleeping with a woman doesn't necessarily mean it must be because of I'm married to him or her.
Man of God, you see, that is where enlightenment comes in. This is where enlightenment comes in. Okay. Yeah. If marriage is not a ceremony, if marriage is not a contract, if marriage is a covenant, how is a covenant enacted? You understand now? Now, I love what the man of God said, that I love the way he put it, that have you ever seen anybody who wedded and who did not marry? But you see, that opinion.
Yeah, but I thought you asked it that way. I've seen somebody who married with he didn't wed. I've seen people do
that is man of God. That's exactly what I'm coming to. You can be wedded and not be married. You can be married and not be wedded. And I will explain. Yes, you can be married and not be wedded. You can be wedded and not be married. So put it this way: I picked up a lady to marry. You understand now? And I performed the normal ceremonies of wedding.
Mhm.
And I took her to my house. And for the next 5 years, I did not touch her. I did not as much as uncover her nakedness. Will you say that I'm married to that lady, even though we wedded? Even from a social understanding. I have asked this question from so many people. The answer is always the same. I always get the same answer. Say that means you were not married. I say, so you understand what I'm saying? As long as I don't touch her, I am not married to her. So after even the court, even our legal system understands this. If you go for a divorce, you understand now, for after 10 years of living with a woman or a man, and you have never touched each other, as long as you confirm that he has never touched me and I've never touched her, they don't divorce. They will not give them a divorce. They will score what's called an annulment. What they will get is an annulment. They won't even get a divorce. Divorce is for people who have married. You understand what I'm trying to say? And I love the way the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 16 said it, in very clear terms. Don't you know? This is not in a wedding contest. This was in a marriage contest. The same marriage contest in the book of Genesis. You understand? When Adam and Eve came together. The Bible said in 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 16, do you not know that if you give yourself to a prostitute, you become one with that prostitute? Anyone you give yourself to, you become one. That oneness is marriage. You see, it does not involve a ceremony. And that oneness takes place on the bed. It cannot take place in.
A question. Do you agree with what he said, Lion Killer?
Yeah, I agree with most of the things he said, but I will like to quickly give my own understanding about what I know about marriage. You see, most of the time, some people try to. Yes, most of the time, some people try to misunderstand the marriage that happened in the Garden of Eden and the marriage that is happening now. Those two marriages are different marriage entirely. Those are two spirits that came together and got married. We also remember that Adam and Eve, Adam was created by God, and Eve was taken from the rib of a man and was created. And now Abel and the children of Adam and Eve, how the world generated came to be, were created by sperm. So those two people were different kind of persons. So my own understanding of marriage is when two persons have come together. You see, the point I'm trying to clear here is that marriage is not instituted by God. It's a personal decision. God has nothing to do with marriage. Even Apostle Paul told us, he said, if you can marry, marry. If you cannot marry, don't marry. That is it. If you wake up today and you know you can't stay with a woman, then stay. But if you know with a man, get married. I don't know if you can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you. Just that there was a little distortion, probably your internet.
Okay.
Now you guys keep saying something
you know, call will call me that.
So there's something two of you guys say that if they
Come
don't
again
sleep with each other, they're not going to be married. I have a guy now who has been in the prison custody for more than 5 years now. So when I was interacting with him, he said he just got married 2 years ago. Where is your wife? How did he see you're in prison abroad? He said, yes, actually, that they knew themselves when they were in the school. So after which he had proposed to her. So I conclude probably he must have told her that he's in abroad. And she married. But the guy is building a house. While in prison, up to now. Are you telling me that that is for marriage? This guy married somebody from the prison. What is your view? This guy that got married and prison to his wife, they are different. 2 years now, 3. What is your
There,
view in this
there is
picture?
this noise. There is this noise from the
I
background,
lost
and it's
network. I can't
overshadowing
hear
our
you. I
voice.
can't hear you.
Is it
There's
my
a
own
lot of
voice?
no. There's a people shouting, and it's overshadowing us.
Okay, it's coming from his end. I just muted him.
Okay.
So, can you respond to that question?
The response I would give to that question is very simple, man of God. You understand that? We need to be realistic, like you rightly said. If that man wedded a woman and they've never touched each other, they are wedded, they are not yet married. They are not yet one. That oneness, sir, only takes place when there is a conjugal union. If there is no conjugal union between a man and a woman, he said, I love the way the man of God made a statement that we should forget about Adam and Eve. Unfortunately, we cannot forget about Adam and Eve. That would be a very big error for us to forget about Adam and Eve. They are the first example that we know. Moreover, we also must understand one thing. Adam was 100% flesh and blood. Eve was 100% flesh and blood. They were no ghosts and they were no spirits. They were humans like us. The only difference is that they were not created through spermatozoa. You understand? But that did not in any way limit or reduce them from being humans like us. And then number two, we cannot use that word that God is not involved in marriage. It was God who instituted marriage. It was God who said the man is not good to be alone. I will make him a helpmate. And the word of God made it very clear, for this sake shall a man leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife. So how do we remove God who said it out of the picture, out of the equation, and without running into trouble? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Even though people wait today without recourse to God or whatever God wants, it does not change the fact that God is the one who instituted marital relationship. It was not an opinion of a human being. Adam did not think that, oh, well, I think I need a wife right now. I think I need a wife. No, it was God who came to tell him that you need a wife. And to that end, God created a woman, brought it to Adam, and then when Adam woke up from his surgical operation, he said, wow, no, 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 no. This one shall be called woman, for out of the man she has been made. Let me put this in a joking perspective. In the real sense of it, what was happening in the Garden of Eden, when God created all the animals and brought them to Adam, man of God, Adam was actually performing a naming ceremony, was not performing a naming ceremony. Adam was looking for a partner. When he saw the giraffe, he said, no, no, your neck is too long. You shall be called the giraffe. When he saw the lion, oh, Rari, you are a lion. So, but the Bible, I love the way the Bible said it. And after Adam have named all the animals, the Bible said, and there was found no suitable partner for Adam, which means Adam was looking for a partner. In the process of looking for a partner, he named the animals. And when he could not find a suitable partner, God said, okay, there's one more surgery we need to perform. I need to put you to sleep. And when God now brought Eve to Adam, the response of Adam is the most unique thing that happened. Adam said, oh, this one now shall be called a woman, which was still a naming ceremony of the creations of God. But there was a difference. Adam personalized this one. This one is my own. The rest cannot be my own. The hippopotamus will not be my own. So how do we take God out of that equation? That doesn't look right. We cannot say God should be removed from marriage. No, that would be wrong.
Thank you for your submission, man of God, that God cannot be removed from the equation. And that is a kind of aberration or overstatement. Okay. But I still maintain wedding is simply a ceremony. That is what I'm thinking. I'm yet to
and I believe you, sir. Wedding is a ceremony. The man of God has a different opinion about that. And like you said, everybody's entitled to their opinion. We are using the word wedding in the context that we socially understand it to be. That wedding is that ceremony. and it can be legal ceremony, man of God. It can be a traditional ceremony. It can be it can be anything. It
That's
can
what
be
I'm
a
saying.
legal it
So
can be a legal ceremony. It can be a spiritual ceremony. But guess
it can
what?
also be
It's not a
ceremony.
but it's not a covenant.
Okay, I agree with you too, because it's a ceremony.
It's a
So now
ceremony.
I want to ask you, as a
Yes, sir.
pastor, as a Christian, as a child
Yes,
of
sir.
God,
Yes,
if
sir.
I decide to marry my wife in my traditional way and refuse to go for white wedding or church wedding, am I committing sin? Have I done anything wrong?
You know, again, you've used the word marry, but you wanted to use the word wed. So you see where I was trying to
No, sir.
understand
No,
early.
sir. I didn't miss my word. See, marriage, wedding is ceremony. So if I
Wedding
refuse
is
to do
ceremony.
listen, if I refuse to do church ceremony of my marriage and go to my family where I want to marry
Yes,
my wife
yes.
without any wedding in the church. If there was any wedding, it happened in my family in the traditional. That's what I'm saying. Will I
Yeah,
be
but
condemned as a
that
church
that
person?
in order to answer your question, I will answer your question with another statement without a direct answer. And this is what I want to say. You see, you use the word, if you wed your wife traditionally. The truth of the matter is this: white wedding is actually the white man's traditional wedding. That
Okay.
is why it's not biblical. It's not any pastor who is promoting white wedding is in error. Any pastor who is promoting white wedding is an ignorant person. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Those of you on
What
TikTok, did you hear what he said? He said, white
white
wedding
wedding
is the
is a white
traditional
man's
wedding of the
traditional
white
marriage.
man. When wedding of our own, you
It's
when
the
go marry
traditional
to
one.
us, do a drink, they carry drink, you go give them like our own
Yes,
tradition. It's our
tradition.
own.
That's our
Now,
own.
the question, so nobody should judge me for no wedding in the
No,
church if I don't want.
no. For my years as a pastor, I've always stood against it. I've always asked that question. Why do Christians do true traditional marriage? Why? You do your local traditional marriage, then you insist on doing the white man own. You are not a white man the last time I checked. In the white man culture, they don't pay dowries, they don't do any of that. You
Exactly.
after you have paid dowry for your wife in your village or your family and everything, then you now start looking for a budget of some millions to do something you call the white man wedding, the white wedding. It's not biblical. It's an error. It's a religious obligation, sir. And it can never stand the test of time.
Mm,
The
mm.
white man is not doing our traditional marriage with us. They don't go out to their family and then go and look for one village in Africa to go and do that. And this is where I always want to point out error. Are we aware that in Africa, it is the man that pays dowry for the woman? It is the man that dowry a woman. Are you
Yes.
aware that in Indonesia, in Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, in those Asian region, do you know it's a woman who paid dowry for a man?
Uh, those of you watching, if you're watching from any of these places he mentioned, can you call this number to give us your own
Yes,
view? It's an
yes.
interactive program. We told you we are discussing wedding is not biblical. It's not in the Bible. And that is what we're trying to explain. Because I've discovered that this issue of wedding is putting people into so many no,
So
no,
much
no.
trouble.
Some
So
when
much
I know
trouble.
some people when they're having problems, they say I know of a lady who is messing around. When she have problem, she said my husband did not wed me. That's why I'm having problem. That's why I'm having miscarriage. He only come and settle my people after tradition. No wed me for church. I've seen this kind of thing happening. I also see somebody because he didn't wed me. I don't think we are married. We are just cohabiting. Any day I feel like if I go, and this girl is eyeing one man that is wedding. I've seen somebody will tell you, and the wedding I wedded in the church, that is not original until I wed in the court. I've heard so many things about this wedding. So I now went through my own research and checked. Last time I checked, white wedding or wedding ceremonial, that ceremony of the white wedding, it's not in the Bible. And you made it a point that I like. White wedding is the traditional wedding of the white people,
Of
while
the
the
white people.
traditional wedding of our own people is our own. So our own their own should not overshadow our own.
Man of
That
God,
you want
man
to
of God,
wed in the church, for me, should be your personal decision with your spouse. Yes, sir. What do
man
you
of
want
God.
to say?
Let me add color to what you've just said. Let me add color to what you've just said. In my family, I came from a very big royal family. My great grandfather left a tradition in my family which still stands up to today. In my family, we don't collect dowries from in-laws. We don't collect dowries. When my own elder sister wedded, all the money that her husband spent in my family, all the money that that young man spent was not up to 10,000 naira. It was not up to 10,000 naira. And as a matter of fact, I was one who sponsored that wedding. You understand? In my family, we give you our daughter. When you come to marry our daughter, we give you our daughter with a stern warning. If you want to have a party, that's your problem. If you don't have money for the party, that is your problem. Nobody's going to force you to do what you don't want to do. So when you come, based depending on your budget and your pocket, we give you what you want based on your capacity that we can see. So if you don't have any money, you come that you want to marry our daughter, we will give you our daughter, but with a warning. Nobody beats our daughters. It's a warning. If you take our daughter and you go and abuse her, trust me, we will come after you with everything we have got, and you will not like it. I have loved this tradition, and that is how it is in my family. So imagine somebody now marry my sister, and I said, "No, we are not wedded." That guy must be very confused, man. You are wedded already because we gave her to you. Whether
Okay.
whether you gave us something or not, the fact that somebody gave that lady to you, you can even be the junior brother of your sister. If you are the man of the house and somebody come into that family and he's interested in your sister, and you who is now like the father of the house, you now give your sister to that man that they are wedded, whether they give money or not. When my own father wanted to marry my mother, guess what? He was a young military officer. My father, my mother is a princess from a very big family. My father didn't have money. Guess what he did? The elder brother of my mom told my dad, "Come to see my daddy. But be honest with him. Tell him you don't have any money. But they should allow my sister to go with you." My father will not disagree. And that was exactly what my dad did. My dad came to my mother's family, requested for my mother's hand in marriage, and told them his situation. They gave my mother to him to go with. My dad went away with my mother, and when they both had money, years later, they already have like 5 children. Guess what? They came back to do the traditional rites. So I was there. I was present in the traditional wedding rite of my mother. My junior sister was there. My junior brother was there. My elder brother was there. We all witnessed the traditional thing take place. So imagine for the years that my dad lived with my mother. My dad now say, "No, we are just cohabiting. We are not yet married." That would have made my dad a very confused man.
Okay.
See, these are the things we need to understand to remove this headache of trying to please people. Some families will not stress you. They just want you to come the way you are and be honest with them. Tell them, "Look, I don't have money, but I love your daughter." If they trust you, they will give you their daughter to go with. So guess what? If any member of that family, the mother, the father says, "Go with my daughter," you are already married. You're already wedded, so to speak. So don't go and start telling people, "We are not here where I can return her anytime I like." Really?
Okay. Somebody has a question. React to it, sir.
Yes. Yeah. So he said that if wedding is not biblical, why did Jesus get involved in a wedding in Cana of Galilee? Okay, now this is where I wanted to say earlier on that maybe we should contextualize what we are saying. That not really as if God was against wedding. You understand now? And it's not as if because that ceremony that took place between your father and your mother, that in itself was a wedding. You understand now? Only that is our traditional way of doing it. It doesn't have to be the white man. So I will have put it in context that God, the white man wedding is not a biblical wedding. It's their own traditional wedding. It does not affect us, and we should not get involved in their own.
Explain to the person the wedding that Jesus went to.
The wedding that happened in the Cana of Galilee was a ceremony that Jesus attended where he turned water into wine. So that is exactly what I'm trying to say here, in essence, that I cannot say wedding is not biblical. It would be wrong for me to say that wedding is not biblical. No, there was wedding in the Bible. You understand now? That ceremony, even when Eliezer was sent by Abraham to go and get a wife for Isaac, even after Eliezer had discovered Sarah, you understand now, and they went to the family. Eliezer, the servant of Abraham, gave gifts to the family of the wife, and before they released her for him to go and take to his master Isaac. So you see that ceremony there, that meeting of the family, because Abraham said somebody, Abraham wasn't there, Isaac wasn't there, but the fact that they sent somebody to go there. No, I mean, sorry, Rebecca. I said Sarah, Rebecca. So the fact that somebody went there and represented Abraham and they gave gift, that was already wedding. So I will not say God is against wedding or God have issue with wedding. No, I will never say that. If I come to your house and I knock at your door, you know, in Cameroon they call it knock door. I come and knock at your door and I ask for your daughter's hand in marriage and you oblige me, that is already a wedding. It doesn't matter if there were only 2 people that were there or 3 people that were there or the whole city that was there. That meeting of that day where you handed over your daughter to me, that is a wedding.
Okay. Okay. Let me explain to the guy who asked the question. Okay. The wedding that Jesus Christ went to Cana of Galilee was not a white wedding.
It was not a white wedding. It was a traditional. It was a traditional wedding.
So that is the difference. So white wedding is not biblical. And when you talk about if now this white wedding, whenever this white garment is involved, suit, tie, it's a white tie.
Wedding. It's already a white wedding. Do you know that even Muslims are not getting confused? They have started doing white wedding.
Muslims are doing it. If you say
they're not doing it. Chinese. Muslims have started doing it. The Chinese have started doing it.
So you cannot say they are practicing biblical standard.
No, they are not. They are just copying everybody. They are just copying what everybody is doing.
Fine. Now, one more question to you, sir. It's unfortunate that one of our guests is maybe network problem couldn't allow you.
Yes.
You know, I want to take a breather. If you have never subscribed to our YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? After this break, I will be taking this last lap of the question. If you don't get information, you are already deformed. Just stick to your Yuka TV for you to get information. See you after the break.
Moral Interactive, Jovika TV, poised to reach you with the truth.
Hello, welcome back. We are poised to reach you with the truth. So we are talking about looking into this topic. Wedding is not biblical. So we have 2 guests in the house, Reverend Abraham and Apostle Dr. Cassie. But unfortunately, Apostle Dr. Cassie is not unavailable due to network problem, internet problem from all the way from Nigeria. Reverend Abraham joined us from all the way from the United States of America. And we have been discussing. They have been able to establish the fact that we have what we call wedding, white wedding, and we have got a wedding of the tradition. That the wedding, whether you're doing the tradition, you're doing the church, you're doing the white of the white, that white wedding is the traditional wedding of the white, while our own tradition is our own cultural and traditional wedding. And the question happened to be, don't use white wedding to judge my marriage. If I didn't participate in the white wedding and I wedded traditionally, I am wedded with my wife. That is the fact we have established today. It's all incumbent on you or left for you to choose what you want to choose. If left for you to be brainwashed, that if you don't have money to carry Ashebi, you don't have money to carry the chief breast man and the page boy, they will dance. People will cut their cloth, shoot at their breasts, do everything. That is not wedding. It's your business. If you have all that elaborate money to waste it. But for me, I've done those things. in those based on my knowledge those days. But today, if I have opportunity to wed, bro, I just do the tradition and forget about this jamboree, this paraphernalia, this display of money, they spray money. If you want to spray me money, come to the tradition and wed me. Let's do it there. And that is for me. That's when the marriage is contracted. If marriage is a covenant can be entered too. That's the next question I want to ask you, sir.
Yeah.
You say marriage is a covenant, and the covenant
Yes,
is established when there is cohabitation,
yes, sir.
intercourse. Now, I
Yes,
want to ask you a question. Can covenant be enacted through verbal confession and agreement?
Well, unfortunately, covenant can never be verbalized. Covenant has to be initiated. A covenant can only take place through an exchange of fluid or blood, as the case will be. You understand? You cannot go into a covenant by just saying, I swear this day, I made a covenant. No, no, no. If you have to make a covenant, the same way the Bible said that without the shedding of blood, there is no redemption. Why was the shedding of blood so necessary? Why was the shedding of blood so important? Because something have to give way for something. It has to be a life for a life. So now this is where it gets a lot more dangerous and tricky. You understand now? The church has preached so much about fornication,
Okay.
but there is something the church has failed to understand. We have a greater, bigger crisis on our hands. You understand now? If we really understand the meaning of marriage and have from the context of 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 16, that if I give myself to a prostitute, I become one with that prostitute. Now, I may not have made a promise to that prostitute. I may not have made anything. I may not have said anything to the prostitute. The fact that I slept with the prostitute, I become one with that prostitute. Now, this is where it gets more interesting. Now, let's go biological. Let's go scientific. It has been proven scientifically, biologically, that when two people have sex together, guess what happens?
Don't use the word that's SEA because of social media. They don't like.
Oh, no. Okay, when two people have intercourse, you understand now? Genetically, biologically, scientifically, do you know what happens? Their DNA merges together. Their DNA merges together. Spiritually, we call it soul tie. There is a soul tie established. The two souls binds together and they become one. Genetically too, their DNA actually merges together. Now, you will see instances of people who got married like 5 years, 10 years, and then they start looking alike. Do you know what happened? Because their DNA kept merging and merging. Every time they copulate, every time they had the intercourse, their DNA keep fusing into each other. They begin to look alike. They begin to act alike. They become inseparable. Do you know why that is so? Because of the fusion of their genetic system. So it's not only a biblical word. Intercourse is not only a biblical word. It's heavier than that. The oneness is all encompassing. The oneness that takes place when you give yourself to a man, when you give yourself to a woman, that oneness is biological, is genetical, is spiritual, is all encompassing. Now, that is where the oneness takes place. So, if you keep jumping around from one woman to the other, guess what you keep doing? You keep joining yourself to every man, every woman that you meet with. I teach that a lot in my family deliverance class, where I tell people that most people don't understand marriage. Some of you are praying for husbands, some of you are praying for wives. God bless me, and God is looking at you and he's confused. You know you're already married. You have all these ladies you have slept with, you have all these men you have slept with, and you're already one with them. You understand? In fact, you already have what we call soul fragmentation, because your soul is one with so many people. You are one with so many people. Now, let me round up by giving a typical example of what Jesus said. It was Jesus himself that said it. Jesus met a woman by the well. And when Jesus asked her to give him water, this woman went into rambling of religion and all of that. But Jesus answered him, saying, "You have answered very well." He said, "But I know that you have 5 husbands." Can you imagine that? So what Jesus trying to say that the woman had was wedded to 5 husbands, but if you don't understand mysteries of the Bible, you will use the wrong interpretation. Jesus told the woman, I know that you have 5 husbands. In fact, the one that you are with now is still not. That is where confusion wanted to come in. Say the one you are with now is still not your husband. Wait a minute. How is that possible? You just said she has 5 husbands. Now you say the one he's with now is not her husband. Indirectly saying you have been sleeping with 5 men. Because in the Jewish time, sleeping around was not a normal thing, it was frowned upon. So this woman has a record of 5. Now there is a 6th man in the picture, which means this woman did not wed any one of them. She was just doing opio. Let me use our language. She was just doing opio around. She had done it with 5 men, and there was a 6th man in the picture. That was why that woman was like, wow, this man told me everything I have ever done. I ran to the village and called everybody, come see a man who told me all I have ever done. But if Jesus had on that day made a statement like, I know you are married, but you're still sleeping around, we will have known that she wedded one. But that woman did not wed any one of them. She was just sleeping with them. She was just like a concubine. She was just like a sex slave to these people. And Jesus himself said, you have 5 husbands. That means 5 men that you have slept with. Can you imagine that? So if the church or Christians know the meaning of that word, sleep with, you will know that the day you touch Sister Janice, you are already married her. The day you touch Sister Rachel, you have already married her. The day you
now,
that could save us.
I am born again.
Yes, sir.
Saved by the grace of God.
Yes, sir.
I know I have slept with a couple of ladies before I speak to my wife. So
yes,
are you telling me that I'm not polygamous? I'm married to
you are still polygamous. Your soul was saved. You got born again. You gave your life to Jesus. But guess what? The soul tie that followed you up to that point in time still follow you. Man of God, have you seen instances where you get married to a very wonderful person, loving, but the moment both of you start to sleep together, suddenly you cannot understand your languages anymore. Suddenly, both of you don't seem to know what is going on. That good man, that good woman that you thought you met, now you have met a total stranger, a total monster. What most people don't understand is this: those souls that are still tied to you, they will conflict with your present partner. There will be a conflict of personalities. It's like that is why it happens where it's that a man cannot satisfy a woman, the woman cannot satisfy the man. And they wonder what is going on. I'm very active, I'm very this. Yes, you people are many. You are like a legion. Every time you go into that woman, you are not the only one doing it. You are going into that woman with a lot of men and women whose souls you have been bonded to. Anytime you enter that woman, you're not entering into one person, you are entering into like a whole nation. Can you see how dangerous it is? When God made that word virginity, he knows what he was doing. It was meant to bind 2 people together. But the devil came and sold us wrong ideas. We took the ideas. Now we have poly partners. We have so many partners. And then when they want to ask you, how many times have you been married? You say 1. Maybe you wedded 1, but you married 10. Maybe you wedded 1, you probably married 50. Like those young men who people. Sorry for saying that. I met a pastor in 1996. When I met this pastor, he was bragging. He had intercourse with 1,650 women.
Let's clap for him.
A pastor, and he slept with those women in the church. I met with another pastor in Enugu who had the same thing. He had slept with over 1,300 ladies, and they were saying it. So can you imagine that? That man is the most powerful. In fact, they were the reigning polygamists I can tell you about, and they did not wed 1. The one that slept with 1,600 wedded 1, but guess what? He never enjoyed that marriage. Why? Because he was already an anointed philandria. So you see, that is where this thing they call marriage becomes very dangerous. Just not sleeping around, it's not just fun. It's a covenant in it's been taking place. That thing of just sleeping is already a covenant. So you have to be careful not to give. And if you have done it and you are now born again, that's why I do a lot of family deliverance. I help Christians to come out of the yoke of previous marriages. You can go and divorce a woman. It does not mean that the marriage is broken. You have only legally dissolved the marriage. But I bet you, people of God, after your divorce, you are still married to that man. You are still married to that woman because your soul is still inside of her. Her soul is still inside of you. But you have you physically, you've already torn the paper. Physically, you've already dissolved the marriage. But marriage is not a physical thing. That is what we are trying to say here. Marriage is
Okay.
not a physical ceremony. It's a covenant. It
Okay.
is beyond going to registry to go and tear the paper or going to court to get the divorce order. Yeah, you get the divorce order. Did you divorce the soul that's already living inside of you?
So marriage is a very complex issue.
It is a very complex issue, sir. We are downplaying it. We are making it look simple. It's not simple, sir.
My wonderful followers and viewers and subscribers, thank you for being here with us. We have about 10 minutes to leave this stage now. We've been looking into the topic, marriage. Is wedding biblical or wedding is not biblical? We have our two guests here who have been able to do justice to this topic. We're able to let you know that white wedding is the traditional wedding of the white. When wedding of a traditional way is our own. Hence, don't let the traditional wedding to control our own wedding, to determine when you are wedded to your wife.
Yes.
He went ahead to explain, it's my shared, and said, if you mingle, if you have intercourse with any lady, you are married to that lady.
Married.
Married to that lady spiritually. There's nothing of covenant. And so many of you that are watching me, I know you just did one last night. Yes, you did one last night, and you're watching, and it's not your wife. So you are in one. Some people will go as far as even sleeping with Onyara. You see some pregnant,
I'm telling you,
people, some mental deranged human beings. You see them with pregnancy. Some of you did that. Some of you, they told you if you sleep with them that you're going to have money, and you condescend so low, stoop so low to enact and have a relationship with Onyara, and that is a mentally deranged human being. Tomorrow, when you have a young man, you have a child that is hey, you say, why? Who do they have done me which? Now you don't know when you are collecting the genetic of madness in the family.
yes.
Is it me that did it?
Yeah.
Think twice.
So, and some even sleep with dead people too. Even dead people. Can you imagine that?
In my channel here, there's a lady that said the husband can go because she goes to the mortuary to sleep with the dead people. It's in my channel.
My word.
Oh my word. How many viewers? She does it every Friday. She will go there and she will do the thing. She told the mortuary attendant, don't tell nobody. But it happened that why would my wife always be going out every day at this kind of time? So the man made inquiry and it was told him that your wife normally comes to sleep with the dead corpse whenever they die. Fresh. So whenever there's any fresh corpse, when they die, they will call her, madam, new one don't come. So they come. She will quickly rush. And they were asking her, how are they entering your body? He said, that's not your business. And this call was coming from a radio station. And they were telling her, how come are you? And they said, it's not to me. They say, your husband is going to be divorcing you for this year. He said, what is he waiting for? He should get out of the place. He has been enjoying the money coming from that. Now he doesn't want to, if he doesn't. So that has the source of wealth.
That is what I wanted to say. That means she's a ritualist. She knows what she's doing. And that's how she's getting her money.
Exactly. So each time she sleeps with the man, the money comes. Each time she sleeps with the dead body, the money comes. So, and somebody was telling her to stop it. He said, the man can go. I can ready to divorce the husband.
Wow.
To the dead body. So what happened, people? I don't need nobody called in. I don't think you guys must have only one question we had. Okay, yes, very interesting topic, man. Only one question we had today. So if you have anything you want to talk about this, you have any topic that is in this nature you want us to discuss in this channel, send me the message. Let's look into it and we'll digest together. We are making this thing to deliver our people from some of the mentally brainwashed doctrines that have kept people. Somebody, you have your own wife, you should enjoy. You have your own, you should start living together. because you don't have money for white wedding. You keep crying. I've done
Yeah.
everything. I've settled the family. Just waiting money for my white wedding. Don't know. Oga, in fact, I've decided I will never borrow anybody money or supply you money for white wedding. If you're wedding, I can come. But if the only way you are coming to borrow me to do a white wedding, you are not normal. I know
Yeah.
the body have money. I know the if you like call me on your job, get out of my sight. Go and have you studied the family? Yes. You have agreement with the doctor? Yes. I've done everything. Now white wedding. But you are married. If you don't want to marry, stay there. Stay there. Some people even begin to go and do fasting and confess. Since I didn't wed her before I slept with her, that is why I'm suffering. Now lie.
You slept with her. You slept with her. You already married her before you even wedded her.
Thank you.
You already married. You married her before you wedded her. So that's that. Yeah, you married her before you wedded her. And that argument is so stupid when people say, "But we're not married." But did you sleep with her? Yes. That means you people already wedded. You married before you got wedded.
You even have a child.
You already married. That is just it, sir.
Husband and wife will come together, they become one. Some of you, God will even tell you are one by that child the two of you had. And you see
it's not even by the child. It is by the intercourse itself. The oneness is by the intercourse. And sorry for before you round up, sir. That is also where I pass a warning to our people. If you are doing masturbation, you are already nature abhors vacuum. There's no vacuum in nature. You say, but it was just myself. I'm just pleasuring myself. That you're pleasuring yourself, you think that you are arousing yourself. How? Yes, already having the intercourse with a demon. You are having a communion with a demon. And if you are using a dildo, that is all this a robot that women are using to pleasure themselves. Say, but nobody touched me. Who told you that nobody touched you? You are having it with a demon right there. And trust me, that is why when the moment people go the path of using robot or masturbation, they never enjoy their marriage anymore. If I thought they were married, they never enjoy. Why? Because you are doing it with a demon. It's an invisible force. It's pleasuring you, but you don't get to see it. Because you live a carnal life, you don't think anything has happened. You say, but nobody touched me. No, nobody touched you. They were touching you. In fact, you have invited hordes of demons to pleasure you unknown to you.
That's awesome. That's very, very, very interesting. So wonderful, guy. Today we have come to the end of this particular broadcast. I sincerely want to thank my brother, my friend, for being here in this program today, where we discuss wedding. So we've been able to explain to you that we are simply talking about white wedding. White wedding is not biblical.
It's not biblical.
Judged by white wedding, but make sure you have already done the marriage, and you're saying that I've not wedded her. That's why I'm not going to marry her. If you keep using that woman, you already married her. So you better go and formalize with the family, legalize it. Then finally, I want to ask a question. This thing now.
Okay, sir.
You know, traditional wedding don't have any documentation. You know, no. So now. The white would know that their own white wedding is documented or court wedding. So yes. What do you think we can do if I decide to only stick to white wedding? I didn't decide to my traditional wedding. I know documentation for the traditional wedding I did. What is your view? That's the last thing I will go for today.
Yeah. See that I was expecting this question to come, because this is it. When you buy a car, do you register the car before you buy the car? Or it is after you buy the car that you register the car?
After buying the car.
Very good. Now, when you want to name a child, do you do the naming ceremony for the child before the child is born, or after the child has been born?
After the child has been born.
So what do you think government is? That registration process, what do you think it is? You call it legalization. No, but you are trying to register that vehicle in the book of the government, so that the government will know how many vehicles have been bought. You are registering that child for population census sake, so that the government have a record. Do you know that is what wedding registry is all about? Wedding registry to register all the marriages that have taken place, so that government have a record of marriages that have taken place. It's just for record purpose. So you see, you can do your traditional and say go to the registry. Registry just for record. It's a record keeping. Okay. For national statistics sake. It is because we are getting it wrong. Now but you can, if you don't have any tradition that you respect, you can still go and register and still be together. But don't tell people you're not married. No. You can register your wedding, do the traditional, and then register it. Yes, it also translates to me you've legalized your marriage, as the case will be. But the real bottom line was just for record's sake, for national statistics purpose. That's just it.
Somebody saying I should put a link for people to be, it is already late for me to put a link. You can make a call to this number to make your contribution. I can ask you to make a call, because I'm sorry, had it been you requested for the link earlier enough, I would have put in the link for you to come in. But now I can only say come in with a call in to tell us what you want to say, and with your call should be the last thing we're gonna do. But if you think you don't want to call, I think at this juncture we need really to go. For me, our brother and friend and father in God has done justice to the topic as we discussed it. He has done justice to it to an extent. So share this video with somebody. Get deliverance from. Don't let anybody to keep you stranded because you have never taken your wife to the to do white wedding. Some people will even say that, no, how can I go to the wedding without the white garment, without my garment of 300 something million? The price of the white garment, the garment is 300. It's unfortunate. Man of God, what is your view about this picture? Because we're talking about some imposed cultures.
Yeah, please. That man of God, that picture is not the picture of Jesus. That is an artist's impression of Jesus. I'm not being racial in any way, because that picture was never the picture of Jesus, and it will never be the picture. We should stop. We should stop promoting.
It's not.
Yeah, we should stop promoting evil, because some of these things that we do, they promote evil, and they don't help us. You know, they really don't help us at all.
Okay, I think at this juncture we have to call it a day. Thank you guys for watching.
Yes, sir.
I think thank you, my brother, for coming on my show today. I really appreciate. Let me remove this foolish picture you guys are using to deceive yourself. Somebody was telling me, hey, why are you saying this? It's a foolish picture. It's a young actor. There was no camera that took picture of Jesus Christ to give you this thing. Even if there was camera, it would have been black and white. No black and white, no camera at all. And you're telling me this is the picture of Jesus Christ. One of the actors of this particular movie is James Cavier. He was at the San Diego a couple of years ago for an interview. We had an interview with him. For that, telling me, I don't know why people put on my pictures everywhere. I don't know. I'm not my savior. I'm also trying to walk my way to salvation. At this note, I bring it to a close. Remember, if you don't get information, you are already deformed. Just go to Jovica TV and you'll be informed. See you. Bye-bye in my next broadcast.
If you no get information, you are already deformed. Why not go to your YouTube? Jovica TV. You want time for Facebook? Jovica TV. Instagram and Twitter? Jovica TV. You want time for TikTok? Jovica TV. Now WhatsApp you want time? Jovica TV.